Hello and welcome to NHSN. I'm Dan Dovev.
And I'm Sarah McFadden. Love current events or politics? The Model Congress and UN provides the opportunity for you to discuss and debate current issues and participate in many tournaments throughout the year, such as the Harvard Model Congress. For those interested in joining next year's team, an informational meeting will be held on Thursday, May 27th, after school in Mr. Ames's room.
For those of you who'd like to write for the Hilltopper, Needham High's newspaper, a special meeting will be held on Thursday, May 13th, after school in Mr. Flaggett's room to discuss issues for the rest of this year as well as next year. Those applying for editor positions are especially encouraged to attend.
We spend more than $1 on simple things like packs of gum each day without thinking about the true value of that dollar. Let's learn some more about just how much you can help with $1.
What Do You Do with the Dollar is a fundraiser that is happening for the third year at NHS. The Junior Student Council will collect money in homeroom to sponsor children in Ethiopia through an organization called Wide Horizons for Children.
For $400, Wide Horizons provides one child with food, education, health care, clothing, and shelter for 1 year. For the past 2 years, we've sponsored 3 little boys, Mintesno Johannes, Abebe Hanaka, and Satoda Dakomo. We need to raise $1,200 this year to continue improving these children's lives. That's really just $1 per person. Everybody can be a part of this.
And as an added incentive, the homeroom that collects the most money will win a bagel breakfast from the class of 2011 Student Council.
So come on, what do you do with $1?
Thanks, guys. If you're interested in learning about a new culture and making a friend from a different country, then you might want to consider being a host family for the Shanghai Needham Exchange Program. It includes hosting a student from Shanghai for 3 to 4 weeks in September of 2010. If you're interested, contact Miss Wong in room 419 or Mr. Brook in room 421 as soon as possible. Now here are some announcements for our Needham Student Council.
Hi, I'm Liz.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
I'm Ethan.
One accomplishment that Student Council has made this year is allowing juniors to go out to lunch during third block. This system has been working really well, and we hope to continue it into next year.
If you've been hearing music in the morning, that's because you're insane. Just kidding. We're starting music in the morning between first and second bells so that students walking into school will know whether they are late to class.
Speaking of being late to class, one of the issues that came up at the beginning of the year was this new tardy policy that made students more at risk for losing credit due to tardiness. When Student Council found out that a lot of students were really concerned with this, we worked with administration to create a new tardy policy that makes this not so much of an issue. Now we have this new tardy policy that resets tardies at the end of each semester, which makes students less at risk for losing credit due to tardiness.
Also, a reminder to all students, you're welcome to attend the Student Council meetings. They're on Thursday mornings at 7:25 a.m. in the multipurpose room.
Thanks, guys. Save the date. The Needham High Art Show starts tonight and continues through May 27th. It features the artistic talent of over 1,000 Needham High art students. Tonight there is a gala evening event from 6:30 to 8 p.m. This event includes refreshments and demonstrations by students to accompany the artwork. Now let's see how sports is doing.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to sports. I'm Sam Rubin. Last Friday, the boys' volleyball team took on a tough Brookline team at home, looking for their 11th win of the season. Let's see how they did. First set, Brookline hits it over, but Needham returns it, and Ryan Hagan is able to put it over the net for the point. And later in the first set, it's going to be Patrick Kelly, whose hit goes off a Brookline player out of bounds to give Needham set number 1. In the second set now, Brookline hits it over, Burdett with the pass, and Adam Werther with a nice tip placement there to get Needham the point. And later in the second set, Needham able to return Brookline's hit, and Patrick Kelly uses the left hand to get Needham the point and the set. Now, set 5 here, Brookline wins 2 sets in a row. Ross Burdett, the all-star, with the big kill there to put Needham up by 1. And now game point for Needham as Dan Dovev returns the hit from Brookline. Brookline gets it again, and their hit goes up and out of bounds as Needham holds on to win 3-2. The team got a win on Monday at Weymouth and now have a record of 12-5 overall with 3 remaining games on the regular season. They host Newton North this Friday for senior night at 5:30 in the A-Gym. The baseball team played Braintree on Monday, and facing one of the toughest pitchers in the league, the team was able to pull out a big win. Eric Arno's triple in the 8th inning put the Rockets up for good as they won 5-4. The 14th ranked girls lacrosse team was able to beat the number 7 Walpole Rebels as they won 10-8. Be sure to vote for the girls lacrosse team versus Weymouth next week as Fox 25's game of the week. The boys lacrosse team suffered just their second loss of the season, losing to Walpole 13-9. This is their first loss against a team from Massachusetts, and they still have a great chance of making a run in the tournament. That's all for sports. See you next week.
Thanks, guys. I think it's safe to say that the vast majority of high schoolers are plugged into some form of electronics for recreational purposes. In fact, 82% of high school students own an iPod, and the majority also own either an iPad, an Xbox, or a PlayStation. And those who don't own any of these certainly want one. Yet President Obama, in his commencement speech at Hampton University, stated that due to such electronics, information becomes a distraction and diversion, a form of entertainment, rather than a tool of empowerment. So as much as you love those electronics, heed President Obama's words the next time you reach for your iPod.
We have some truly talented students here at Needham High. We will learn some more about them. Thanks, guys. We've all heard that teenage obesity rates are on the rise and that the typical high school student tends to sleep very little, but these two facts are often seen as separate part of a teenager's life. Until now, that is. Recent studies show that in teenage boys, a lack of sleep leads to a much higher risk of obesity. As adolescents, we're supposed to get from 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep a night, which will help keep teenage boys at a lower risk for obesity. So when you're deciding whether to go to sleep or stay up in Facebook for a few more hours, remember this little tidbit and try to get some more sleep.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week.
Remember, it's your school and your news.
Thanks for watching, and
See you next week.
Achad, Stain, Shalosh.